Hey guys, it's BuddyMate here again today. We are doing another benchmark video, this time on Battlefield 5 with the 2080 versus the 3080 GPUs with a 5800X3D as our CPU. Now, I am starting this benchmark off with everything set to low, with ray tracing turned on, and then we're going to medium settings, and then we're going to go to high, and then we're going to go to ultra settings. Alright, so the first benchmark here, we're about to start. Take a guess on which side is which here in this video. It might be really hard to tell on low. Nah, it's actually not really hard to tell which graphics card is which. As you may have guessed, the rtx2080 is actually on the left side and the rtx2080 is on the right side. It is in 1080p. I didn't go any higher than 1080p. I didn't feel that was necessary. I don't really have a monitor that goes higher than 1080p anyway, and I prefer to have a higher frame rate than better picture quality over 1080p. So 1080p is where I'm going to be for the next few years, I think. Anyway, we are looking at 100 FPS compared to basically 200 FPS. Just under 200 FPS we are getting on the 3080. Now, I was recording on the computer with OBS, and yes, I did knock down my FPS quite a little bit. So if I turned off OBS, basically would be sitting on 200 FPS solid on the 3080, and on the 2080 would probably be sitting on around 100 most of the time. But in this test, it's fair for both computers. They are both running the same everything, only the graphics card has been swapped out. So as you can see, the light from the pole, well, you can't see it because it's not in the middle of the footage. Actually, yeah, it's not in the middle. So we're just running around the light a little bit, seeing how the shadows work, and on low the shadows actually look pretty terrible. There's no real light that comes off the lights, there's no shadows that come off the light bulb and stuff there. Alright, we got into a bit of action scene on the right side. On the left side we are now changing the graphics settings to medium. Turning off motion blur. I always turn off motion blur. Restarting the game on the left side now. On the right side I was still playing around a little bit, and here we go. And now I change the settings on the right side to medium, 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 medium. Medium. And I have VSync turned off, and motion blur also is turned off. Alright, here comes our medium run now down the cliff, and I try to get these pretty close together as I could so you guys get like a better comparison, but it's pretty damn hard to get them exact. Try to keep the same sort of course. As you can see, I was slightly ahead on the 2080, but that's alright. Well, we're looking at about 100 FPS on medium with the 2080, and we're still looking at around 140 FPS on the 3080. So there's something I should let you guys know. With the 2080 in the computer, now though the frame rate is high, I didn't have the frame graph up, which I sort of regret. If I had the frame graph up, you'll be able to see like it stutters, and it stutters quite a bit when it gets to highest. On medium it's not too bad, but when you get to ultra it starts to stutter, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it in this clip or in this video, but yeah, you'll probably see it. I don't know. We'll find out when we get to ultra. Anyway, we are getting 80 FPS on the 2080 and 150 on the 3080 at the moment. They're around the same parts together, and I try to keep these as close as I can. As you can see, look at the shadow. The shadow definitely goes out a lot further on medium settings, and even the light on the 2080 side, on the left side, the light casts a shadow off of your body, and even the big light seems to cast a shadow out further than the low settings. Alright, so now we are changing on to high settings on the 2080, and we are going to restart the mission with the 2080. And on the right side, we are still looking at this at a different light now, which the 2080 was just at, and as you can see, the shadow goes off into the bush and everything, which is nice and neat. Now we're going to skip through to high settings right now. Alright, we are now on high settings, and we're going to go skiing down this hill again. Now, so high settings has knocked off a little bit of FPS on our 2080 and obviously our 3080 as well. But as you can see, the 3080 is still, it's getting closer to over double the FPS. Almost getting closer to triple the amount of FPS if you ask me. But as certain scenes come along, as we're going down this hill, the 3080 seems to struggle a little bit with all the stuff that's going on. But the 2080 is struggling a lot worse. The 2080 dips into just as I would call unplayable region, which is 50 FPS. It dipped in the high 50s on high settings. So I'd hate to see what it will do on Ultra, and we will be testing Ultra next. That is our last setting that we will be testing. Now, the 3080 got nowhere near 60. It stayed above 140 the whole time, basically. So we are doing sweet with the 3080. So if you guys are looking to upgrade from a 2080 to a 3080, I will be doing more benchmarks like this. And if you like these sort of videos, please give us a big thumbs up and subscribe. I will have more videos like this coming out comparing the 3080 to the 2080 with a 5800X 3D. Okay, don't forget I have a 5800X 3D. If you are not getting the same FPS as me, maybe your CPU might be the limitations, or even the RAM in your computer might be your limitations. My RAM is running at 3600 megahertz. I have 32 gig of RAM in my computer, not 16 like most people would have. Alright, so now we're looking at the lights again. The lights do look better on high than they did on medium or low. The shadows tend to go out a little bit further on high. And next we will be testing Ultra. And Ultra is going to be our last run of the day. As you can see, I was looking at the hand on the body on the 2080. It was casting a shadow onto the dude's body, and that was pretty cool, I thought. Alright, so here we go. We're going to Ultra. We're turning off motion blur. We are also turning off VSync. I think I forgot to turn off VSync on the 3080 straight away. Let's skip to the next run. Alright, we are now on the next run here, and we're about to go down the hill. We're just waiting for the game to load in all of its little settings that has just changed. Okay, so the 2080 is now at 70 FPS. The 3080 is hovering around 160 still, which is awesome. That is over double the frame rate. So if you are interested into getting a 3080, I would recommend it, or even higher if you are running a 5800X 3D. Your graphics card is the main thing holding you back in Battlefield, at least. I also tested Red Dead Redemption as well. I'll be testing Arma 3 soon. That video will be coming out soon, side-by-side comparison. Arma 3 is a little bit harder to test than this. But yes, that video will be coming out soon, so if you're interested, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in that one. Anyway, we are down the bottom of the hill on the 3080, and we're getting about 140 FPS, 150 FPS. Now, if I wasn't recording this on my computer, it would probably be higher than that. Now, the 2080, as you can see, it is stuttering. I don't know if you can see the stutters, but I can see the stutters. At 60 to 70 FPS, it's doing okay. We are getting 80 FPS, and as you can see, like the frames can jump anywhere from high 50s on the 2080 to high or low 80s. So look, we're now dipped down to 57 FPS on the 2080, while the 3080 stays at around 140 FPS most of the time, which is great. We did dip down to 127 on the 3080, but you know, that is still very, very playable. And if you're getting much more than that sort of frame rate, then you should be fine. But here we go. We are now looking at the light again with the 2080. With the 3080, I will run on a little bit further on this benchmark to the end. Just to show you what it's like if you just went across the bridge and stuff. But yeah, so the 2080 is I'm about to wrap up now, because I didn't really like playing it at 1080p on ultra settings. It was a little bit laggy, it was a little bit choppy. It's not the greatest experience, though it still looks visually amazing. It is Battlefield 5 after all. I reckon it looks better than Battlefield 2042 at the moment. Although Battlefield 2042 seems to have come a long way, although it's ray tracing, I don't like its ray tracing as much as Battlefield 5's ray tracing. Anyway, as you can see, I ran ahead with the 3080 a little bit. Got in the car already. You can see the mirrors work in the car on the 3080. Well, with ray tracing, it looks amazing. The mirrors also work with the 2080 as well, with ray tracing turned on. They also do look amazing. Although, as you can see, the 2080 is lagging slightly around here. Alright guys, if you like this video, give us a good old thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm going to leave the video play on from here on out, and enjoy it.
Gebt alles, was ihr habt! Die sind da drüben!
Denne burde funke.